know a man, he could give me therapy. What's the use of therapy? You don't want to change, babe. I talk too much when I got nothing to say. Maybe it's to get away. It's easier to walk away. I gotta find the time to let love in. I gotta find myself and let love in.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army. Army officers say the missile, found sometime last week, has been inspected at Roswell, New Mexico, and sent to Wright Field, Ohio, for further inspection.
All right, look at us. Here we are, doing the stuff. What is up, everybody? It is Wednesday. It is April 1st. Wow, it is April 1st. I didn't change this, I forgot. We'll do that right now. Here we go. We're doing the stuff. We're at the place. We're doing the things. I don't know if I feel better, but I certainly feel like I spent money at a doctor. Hold on. Look at that classic April Fool's Day joke. Yeah, I saw a thing today about how Zoom is selling all your information. Of course they are. Of course they all are. Hello everyone, thanks for being here. Social distancing episode, who knows what this is? 12, 13? Episode 13, yeah, to Facebook. They're selling all your stuff to Facebook. Look at that, classic April Fool's Day prank right there. Sorry if you see me messing with my face. That's just, this thing is just bothering me a little bit. But we got a fun show today. What is everyone doing on, has anyone had a good April Fool's Day joke ever in their life in any capacity? Thanks, Mike. I put a lot of effort into that one. It's one of those classic bits everyone will be talking about for a long time. Let me see. A little bit of construction still going on. So what does Zoom bomb mean? Like a bunch of people find it and just get in there? We'll get into another one here. I don't know if any, I mean, the April Fool's Day jokes seem to used to be great. That's good that we don't hear any construction or anything like that. What's the Taco Liberty Bell? I don't know any of this stuff. My dad once took away my N64 for April Fools. That doesn't make any sense at all. I don't know what any of that means. Yeah. It used to be so much easier to fool people with these things. What's the, let me find it real quick. My favorite April Fool's Day joke of all time is, the saga of Sid Finch. Is anyone familiar with Sid Finch? What is this Taco Bell story? How did I not hear about that? They published an article that said they bought the Liberty Bell. That's so funny. That hurts nobody. That does nothing. Sid Finch is from like a mid-'80s story about Major League Baseball. Basically, right now we have Snopes, so it's easy. They'll be like, I like a joke or a prank if it's at the expense of either only the person doing it or nobody. That's kind of what I like. Other than that, it's not great. You know, I just don't like hit someone in the face and say April Fools. My sister, I told my students I made brownies for them, bought it in a pan with foil, brought in a pan, let them open the pan. It was a bunch of E's cut into. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. What happens when second graders see that? Do they think it's a funny prank or do they lose their minds? This is fun. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good teacher joke. There's an April Fool's Day episode of Wheel of Fortune hosted by Alex Trebek. I don't believe that for a second. That sounds insane. That sounds absolutely insane. Yeah, the thing is, kids like that is true. Kids like to prank other people, but they don't like to be the one getting pranked. That's like the big thing. We'll get some music here in the background when we talk about all this. They like to be the one doing the prank. The main building at our university looks like a castle. One year on social media, they said they were turning into medieval times. That's fun. It's harmless. That's harmless. You fell for a screen rant saying there's an Office movie. Well, that's just, you want that so bad you're willing to look past what day it is. Green eggs and ham. That's fun. Senior pranks were always crazy. You'd always hear, here's the thing, I don't know if any senior pranks actually ever happened, or if people just always talked about the senior pranks that happened from older classes. That was the thing. Everyone would get very excited. Man, my face, my beard and hair is getting out of control. People would always get very excited. Like, you know, 20 years ago, the class of whatever, they released 3 pigs, or you'd hear those same sort of like, they had a couple of these, they did a couple of all these crazy things, and then it'd just be one kid would go streaking and get in trouble every year. Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy switched game sounds one year. That's fun. That's fun. See, that's just doing, I like it when it's just kind of doing nothing. I can deal with that. I just don't like my senior prank was crying alone in the bathroom. Okay, that is what it is. High school isn't fun for anybody. Even the people who had fun in high school, that's insane. I can't imagine that. I remember when Dad took the neighbor's Mustang and put it against a fire hydrant and put our hose. Yeah. I remember him telling me about that. That's so elaborate. That is so elaborate. Do Canadians don't do senior pranks? Do they apologize for leaving the school? I'm trying to think about what Canadian seniors would do. Do they go to the doctor? It's just one of those classic international April Fool's Day pranks. Do they go to a doctor and it doesn't cost all their money? Yeah, we're really like quickly moving past this dad prank. He took the neighbor's Mustang, the neighbor who was close friends of ours, and put it against a fire hydrant and put a hose up spraying water. So basically it looked like the car rolled out and someone tried to steal it and it wrecked into a fire hydrant. I mean, the legality of that, I don't know. What was, no, yeah. You're on the school newspaper cover. There would always be, everyone in high school has these really elaborate ideas for these pranks where they're like, we're gonna, and then just end up spray painting a dick on the rival school's football field or something like that. Yeah. One of my dad's friends stole the local Domino's inflatable Noid. The Noid. Oh, man. This is bizarre, and I think I'm actually allowed to talk about it now. Let me look this thing up real quick. So there is this comedy special called Laugh Relief that is coming, and it's going to be this Saturday, I think. Basically streaming every single place there is. Let me pull up the information. Ray Romano is hosting Live Aid Laugh. All right, I'm going to fade the music out here. Ray Romano is hosting Live Aid, Laugh Aid live stream, if you guys didn't see this. Patton Oswalt, Eliza Schlesinger, Bill Burr, Mark Maron, Nikki Glazer, Howie Mandel. And it's for the COVID Emergency Relief Fund. It is Saturday. Comedy Central is putting it on. And and it's going to be, I'm looking on Twitch, Twitter, Comedy Central's YouTube channel, Facebook, Laugh Lounge, Sirius, Spotify. It's this giant Laugh Aid live stream, and I got asked to do it, and I got asked to pitch an idea that is not stand-up. It's going to be comedians at home, but they don't want you doing stand-up. So I'm insanely excited because the lineup of people is bonkers for this thing. I'll drop what it is here in the chat. And I pitched them doing a live Kyle's Dad game. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to have got a video of Kyle's Dad movie trailer description game from Never Seen It that we're gonna play. Oh, and it's gonna be absolutely wild to do that. So my dad will be introduced by Ray Romano or someone, I guess. I don't know. It's so funny. We worked on it yesterday. It's gonna be very funny. And I don't know how long this thing is or what it is or but it should be fun. Can't believe it. Cannot believe it. I say the podcast name for sure a few times, and then you know, you don't get a lot of time with these things. My dad, everyone's gonna be guessing who's watching, I guess. That's the idea, is he's describing it and everyone will guess. And part of me wants Ray Romano to introduce my dad because he likes Ray Romano. Part of me really wants anyone else to introduce him because he won't know who anyone else is. He hasn't heard of any of these small comedians like Bill Burr or Mark Maron or Patton Oswalt or Nikki Glazer. Howie Mandel, I think. Worldwide Dad Game. He's no longer just a North American entity. He's going to be completely worldwide, no longer a United States and Canadian property. Yeah, hopefully if Bob Hope introduces him, he'll be super into that. All right, so we got a few minutes. We got Myq Kaplan. Mike Drucker, work stuff, maybe not gonna be able to make it, but Myq Kaplan, if you guys don't know, is just one of the funniest people there is, one of the smartest comedians there is. So good with words, so incredibly talented, so funny. And I want to play Quiplash against who I think is like one of the quickest comedians with one of the best vernaculars of any comedian. Because he seems like he could be the final boss of a word game, but also Quiplash is chaos, so who knows? But I'm gonna get him in here in a minute, and then we will see if Mike Drucker also is able to get away. And join us. It's just what do we got? We're hanging. We got people. Let's do it. All right. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna get some music playing here, and I'm gonna get Myq Kaplan, and then we'll get into it. Okay, here we are. We're hitting the transition button. We're lowering the volume of the music, all the stuff that normally you don't verbalize while you're running a show. Everybody, please give it up for Myq Kaplan. I don't know how to gesture down to where he's at. Oh, he's got a microphone. We're living in heaven right now.
Thank you. Microphone equals heaven.
It didn't used to, but here in April 2020, it's as close as there is, I suppose. Look at that mustache, Mike.
Oh yeah,
Looks great.
Was You run out of things to do. So you start shaving, and then you're like, oh no, I remember there's many things that I can do. And then in the middle of shaving, you stop, and you're like, I gotta go read and journal and talk to friends,
Yeah.
and then you have a mustache.
And then I think that once we all start seeing each other again, there's just going to be such an incredible influx of of poorly grown mutton chops.
Oh, sure. I think the next facial hair stop on the train is the opposite of the mustache, is just like the Amish,
Yeah.
mustache shaved, everything else full.
That's kind of how it grows for me naturally. This is 6 months, and then I shaved this before I was quarantined. It just
Ha.
sort of like Lincolns out, and then takes forever to fill in the rest of it. But you take what you can. So what do you what's keeping you busy then? Where are you? What's going on?
I'm just in the other room in your home. Uh I'm in my home in Brooklyn that I share with my girlfriend, so we do some things together, some things separately. Certainly, we're watching 6 Feet Under, a wonderful show about death that makes you feel alive or makes you feel
Yeah.
sad. But it's nice to experience other people's sadness
Yeah.
for a little while,
Even if it's scripted.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's a wonderful show. It really holds up. I think it started coming out like almost 20 years ago.
Yeah. It seems like it sort of just preceded The Sopranos, and so it gets buried in that prestige HBO TV beginnings because The Sopranos was such like a behemoth.
Oh yeah, but if I had to watch one show over and over again, well, I'm glad I don't. But this would be a fine one, and I choose it
Yeah.
before The Sopranos. But I've been starting my days the way that I quote unquote normally do, which is when I'm home. If I can wake up without an alarm, I wake up whenever I wake up.
Yeah.
I read a little something from often a Buddhist book or some kind of thoughtful, mindful, spiritual text. Then I meditate for 10 or 20 minutes. Then I do like sort of free writing, like a stream of consciousness, or an email to my girlfriend or my mom, or just a journal entry for myself, some kind of like morning pages. I use the website 750words.com, and it's sort of like all a nice way of like re-entering the world of awakeness, of starting existing.
I'm writing that down, 750words.com. My discipline is terrible. Already it's something that I struggle with.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's writing or this has helped me with the routine. Part of the reason I've kept this in the morning is just because I have to get up then and be moving. And if this was at 4 p.m., it still might accidentally end up being the first thing I do.
Oh yeah. I don't know why this happened, but now I used to get up like in the before times. I would get up like, it's 9 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock. That would just be naturally what happened. I'd go to bed at, I don't know, 1 a.m. or something.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, my girlfriend and I have been staying up sometimes later and later. She always gets more sleep than I do. But we've been, I've just been waking up at almost like noon every day. And I'm like, well, I guess that's like, it's sort of like I'm awake mostly the same amount of time, like, noon to 4 a.m. instead of 9 to 1.
Yeah.
But it feels it feels weird. I'm like, oh, it's like honoring how things are different now. Like everything is changed.
Yeah. I am keeping the same amount of hours and trying to keep relatively the same hours, but I've had a hard time outside of this, which is now more efficient. I feel like I use this as an excuse to not be creative in any other way for a while. I was like, you know what I should do is I should adjust this graphic. That'll take a while. If I work on this graphic, that's not really important, or if I work on learning an animation thing, and then I just don't get anything else done. I need to work on things that'll be relative to my life in 6 months, hopefully.
Well, I think that caring for your, well-being on a day-to-day, moment-to-moment basis is also worthwhile. Like I saw this a post from Gretchen Rubin, who wrote a book called The Happiness Project and a book called The Four Tendencies, which I read and loved. And one of her things was basically like, it's okay to be boring or bored. I forget if it was bored or boring, but I think both. Like, in that right now, sometimes there's excitement that is we're like that we don't want. So it's
Yeah.
okay to, if it's just like, okay, getting up, putting on pants, eating food, doing something for your mental or physical or emotional or spiritual well-being, like those are, especially, like, we're almost all operating at what seems like it could be a deficit right now. We're like, whether it's with hope for the future or knowledge of what the future is, or our plans, or our economic well-being, or
Yeah.
societal well-being, or emotional, like, if you're, anything that you're doing is making you feel like, if working on that graphic is like, I feel good and purposeful and useful, even if the use won't translate to 6 months from now, but who knows what, in 6 months from now, then you'll be able to focus on things, and you'll, like, because right now we're just in this sort of unprecedented weird place where I think it is important to, like, also accept and embrace and forgive ourselves for, like, for the people who are like, it's a great time to write that novel, and it's also a great time to not put too much pressure on yourself for writing that novel. If you can do the work of, instead of working on a novel, work on the novel idea of your, self being, okay in the moment.
Yeah. I mean, that's great. And I need to hear that. And I appreciate it. And I think you're right. We
Oh
talked
yeah.
a little while the other day about how it's still okay to have fun doing some things that you have to do because of all of this. It's not, you don't have to punish yourself for not being in the worst case scenario. And you're allowed to, people are telling, oh, it's kind of nice to have a little time to play a board game. Yeah, you know what it is. And even if, yeah, you were forced into it and the circumstances are bad, but you don't have to feel guilty for getting enjoyment out of anything.
Yeah, here's two things that I think of now, at least one if I don't forget the other. But as I understand it, like in Judaism, the more regimented you get, like the, Hasidic Jews or Orthodox Jews, there's a lot of like specific blessings that you say over, like a specific blessing for food or wine or, any particular daily activity.
Mhm.
And it might seem to some people like, isn't that like a little much, a little overkill? Like, you have to remember to do all these things, but in some ways, it could be a calming thing. That if you're like, okay, well, this is, I know when I wake up, I do this thing, I say this thing. Like, this is a thing that I don't have to think about. Like, you get rid of like decision fatigue. Like Steve Jobs or Batman just had the same outfit in their closet over and
Yeah.
over and over. You're like, don't have to worry about that. Let my mind now be free to deal with other things. So if you're like, I do this blessing, I do this activity, I, get up, and for you, you're like, every morning at this time I start this. And so if you made yourself another scheduled thing later in the day, be like, okay, at 2 p.m. every day I do this, at 6 p.m. every day I do this, whether it's take a walk or have tea or call a friend, like, and those are things that you could do but don't have to. Because even myself, like, I am talking about like scheduling a call with a friend later, and it feels both like good to be talking to a friend and also in some ways constricting to be like, how do I know what I'm going to be doing later? What if I'll want to be doing something else? What if I'll be in
Yeah.
the middle of something? And that's okay. If there's like multiple things that you want to do, then great, you can do one of them at a time and another one later. And it's all a matter of, there's kind of no, almost no have to, like there's all get to, that's a nice shift.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing is that I was going to say is my grandmother passed away 2 weeks ago, and in it's a weird time. It's always, grief is always
Yeah,
a
I'm
thing
sorry.
that
I
makes.
remember reading about
Oh,
that. I'm sorry to hear.
oh, thank you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is, and that's all. I just wanted you to say it to me on the stream. That's what I was fishing for. But the one thing is, like, there's been such an outpouring of my friends, my family, like people who knew my grandmother, people who like knew my mother a long time ago. Like, they're getting in touch on Facebook, via email. Like, there's a lot of people, and I think that perhaps even more than would have been because of the abundance of extra free time that people have now. There's even more people that are like, oh, I have time to reach out. I have time to have a longer conversation. I have time to write a longer email, which is also just on the subject of, it's a silver lining, a nice, there's a lot of people who are sick and suffering and dying, and that is I wish that wasn't happening, and I hope that by us staying inside and doing everything that we can and spreading information and hopefully sharing money, attention, dollars, like amplifying, like all the things that we can do from where we are, like with our limited capacity each, that's all happening. And then also, like you said, it can be also nice to slow down, nice to have time to call my mom and talk to her for 40 minutes each day, which I, in the past would have only talked to her like, once a week for 15 minutes. And now, because of my grandmother's passing, like we're checking in more. And also because of this global pandemic, we're checking in more. And like, I want to talk to her more, and I'm able to. And, I'll do that with a good friend each day as well, for the most part. So it's not, it's like I'm imagining an argument where if somebody's like, oh, so you're happy about this, you're
Right.
happy about all the suffering, and of course I'm not, and also this is happening.
Yeah, it's not. Two things are allowed to exist at the same time, I guess, is sort of people. Some people are like, it's a one in, one out. If you're enjoying any of your free time, that means you're happy this is happening. And it's like, no, actually, I can hold two separate thoughts at the same time. It's and I can feel emotional about two different things at the same time in two different ways. I'm sad this is happening. Obviously, I wish it could all go away. Any little thing, I do find joy in some little things that have happened, I guess, as a result of this, but things I wish were happening on my own anyways. And that's okay. It's okay to be happy in some things, I hope.
For sure. Well, there's we never want to tell anyone else, that they're doing things like, that they're grieving wrong, or you're cutting out a little bit for me, so I don't know if I'm
sorry
also
about
cutting
that.
out a little bit for you. Oh, no. It's it could be the internet, I understand, is being asked to do a lot of things these days.
Yeah.
But like personally speaking, there's a quote I like from the Prophet by Khalil Gibran. It's the greater that sorrow carves into your being, the more joy and pain. And so I think it's, our own individual experiences with sorrow and grief and joy, like we all get to decide what our experiences, or if not decide, we all get to discover and accept and embrace and then share. And then if our experiences can help, it's nice to offer people something in the way of like your own experience, which if it gives them permission to, not beat themselves up, then hopefully that's good as well.
Yeah. I agree. And you put it better than I could. But I think that's something a lot of people are thinking, even based on what people are saying here in the chat. That's something a lot of people are thinking. And it's just such a weird, it's weird to have one large collective experience, which seems like it became rarer and rarer and then amplified to the greatest possible collective experience that there is. Which is not, it is a pandemic. I mean, it is in the idea of a pandemic now, but for a long time, it seemed like we were more or less finding specific experiences that were really tailored to things that you could kind of really find your little niche and specify into that and sort of stay in the world that you stay in. And now we all have this one giant thing in common. And Mike Carosa, who's in the chat, said he finally watched The Matrix. So it's really only universally good things coming from this. Yeah, it is. There's a lot of people sort of talking here. I'm actually going to bring this down so you can see what everyone's saying. I'm going to share my screen with you real quick, so you're going to see what it looks like when you're watching it. And it might be too small. You can let me know if it is.
I see.
But you can kind of, I'll scroll here and you can see what everyone's saying. I'm going to let him read through that briefly. What we're going to do is we're going to be right back, and we're going to get into some of these games that we're playing and everything. And here, let me know if you want me to scroll here for you. Guys, we will be right back. All right, I'm unmuted. And we're back. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for your... let's lower this music again here. I realize I've just been playing this music all the way through, so we're on like song 13 of this album. So this is not... Myq, we play a game here on the podcast called 10 Rapid Fire Questions, and then 10 more Rapid Fire Questions up to 4 more times. So it's a 40 rapid fire question thing, just to learn a little bit about you. And what you're gonna do is we're gonna do a 15 question run. You just pick a 15 number range between 1 and 50.
Pick a number between 1 and 50,
and that'll be the number we start with. And we're gonna do, so you could do like 5 to 20 or 11 to.
Oh, I see. How about 33 to 48?
Let's do 33 to 48. All right, question 33. Where do you get your news from?
I get it every morning from The Week magazine. Sends me the top 10 stories of the past day, and then also I see it on various social media. But that's the first place I get it each day.
All right, I already lost my place. Question 34. Do you like musicals?
I do like. I will say, if I have to say yes or no, the answer is yes. Of course, like with anything, do you like movies? There's some that I like, some that I don't. But yes, I love a lot of musicals. I love Stephen Sondheim in particular. I really liked Fun Home and Hamilton and The Book of Mormon. And yeah, so yes, I like musicals.
I will say, and as a comedian, when I went and saw The Book of Mormon, it was legitimately... it was the funniest thing I'd ever seen in my whole life in any capacity, and it was so funny. Do you ever see a joke so good that you're so happy it exists, and you're also frustrated you didn't have anything to do with it?
Oh sure.
The Book of Mormon I left, and it's the last time I saw it. It's one of the few I saw it, and I was like, I can't. Do you know what I mean? I just felt unobtainably funny and good.
Yeah, I sometimes as you see a joke like that, as it's coming out, you're like, I want to, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
It's like when you see somebody say something and then you try to say things along, like if at the exact same time, but you can't do it at the exact same time because they're saying it first.
You can't. It's so wild. There's even a joke that pays, and this, I don't want to spoil Book of Mormon, even though it's a little... obviously it's old enough to where, and anyways, and it's hard to spoil. There's a joke that feels a little grating the whole time and then pays off at the end in such a way with someone's name that you're so blown away that you didn't see this joke coming. The one joke got a standing ovation when I saw the show, and I was just like, I can't, how can South Park not even be the greatest thing these guys made? It's insane. Although maybe it still is because it's been on for 55 years, but I thought, okay, back to the questions. I just love book. If it ever come, it's maybe the thing I would pay the most to rewatch, that, or like I saw Elton John one time and it was very expensive, and I still think it would be worth paying to see him again.
So rapid fire.
Yeah, emphasis on the fire. What sort of socks do you wear most frequently?
I don't know what they're called, but my girlfriend found them at the Park Slope Food Co-op, and they don't have them anymore. But they're these like kind of like they don't stop at the ankle, but they go up just a little bit, but not like super high up the calf. And they're beige. The kind of socks I wear are beige.
Okay. What movie do you think deserves a sequel?
Every movie deserves a sequel, but here's what I think. This is one that won't be an answer that has been given a lot, but and I don't know how it would even make a sequel. But I told a friend the other day, he was like, he doesn't watch a lot of movies, and he's like, what's like a feel good? I don't want anything like too like sad or horrifying right now, and I watched this movie twice, which is kind of like giving it its own sequel that is its own self.
Yeah.
But the Secret Life of Walter Mitty with Ben Stiller. Have you seen that movie?
That was like one of the... This is going to be another musical length tangent, I feel like. I think it's one of the best movie trailers that's ever existed was for Walter Mitty. It's so good I remember it. And yeah, go on. I want to... but I'll tell you, I have seen it.
It made me feel so good. Like, sometimes I feel like when people make art, when make a movie or a book or, examples of art. Like sometimes like when I'm watching, I'm just like, these people know exactly what they're doing. Like their intention is clear and they are executing it as desired, and then it's like all those things could be like those things are like, you know, miraculous at all, especially when it's a movie, like all that has to go into, you know, the sights and the sounds, the technical things that I have no idea what's involved, like even just a person's comedy set or a meal. Like chef could make a perfect meal, and then if you don't like the flavor of the thing, then it's not perfectly for you.
Yeah.
But that one just sort of, you know, spoke to my you know, my heart and my brain in a beautiful confluence of ways that I'd be like, well, I want to see whatever, if they could make more of that story or another story like in the world of it, I'd be happy to see it.
Yeah, it's something I would, even if I knew it was quickly thrown together, he has a daughter or son who goes through the same thing type of thing, I would be like, okay, I would like to see this. The way that they retroactively seem to wedge a sequel in 50 years later or something like. But I did really like it. I remember also reading the short story, sort of finding it on my own and reading it and being like, oh, look, I found art that I enjoy completely independent of school or someone telling me to, which was a hard, you know, this was a few years out of college. And so I wasn't, someone had told me what book to read. And someone had told me what story to read, and someone had told me what play to read for so long that finding something on your own made it you feel such a different attachment to it, I guess.
Oh yeah, that's like my mom was a music teacher, and my dad was as well, and I was made to play the violin when I was 4 years old, and I did not love it. I didn't like it. I like threw tantrums, but I was like made to do it, and I studied for years and years. I took so many classes until, you know, eventually, as an adult, I don't have to, but in high school, I started teaching myself guitar, and I love because I use all the skills, that all the information, all the knowledge, and like bodily and mental like, you know, units of, you know, theory and practice that now I'm like, but I choose this. Like nobody's telling me that I have to practice the guitar. And I played it for hours a day, and it was like, again, like sort of a manifestation of like the sorrow that I was carved into me of all those, you know, horrible lessons that I didn't want to take, now was filled with joy in that same exact container.
Yeah.
So
I have spent a decent amount of time since college rereading the books I skimmed for assignment, if that makes sense.
Oh, my girlfriend a year or two ago started reading classic novels, and she read like 60 in a year, and she loved Dickens, and I this past year read the first Charles Dickens book that I'd read since assigned it in high school, and spoiler alert, he is good. It
sounds so, I feel so stupid. I do that with movies I haven't seen. I saw Back to the Future for the first time last year, and I like watch Back to the Future. I'm like, you guys, it is good. And like this happens, but especially with big epic things like that, where you read Dickens or you read something and you're just like, oh, well, there's a reason they teach it. You just feel forced into it when they're telling you to read it, because it feels old and crusty if a teacher's telling you to read it. You don't understand it was the best thing that existed when it came out.
Yeah, because, you know, when you're a kid or younger or less experienced or less mature, like there's you know, it's reasonable to have this, you know, you can't tell me what to do. Like, I'm going to find my own way.
Yeah.
And it's not like they're trying to tell you what to do to punish you. Like, if I can, a brief tangent, yesterday I was on another show or podcast sharing a story from my girlfriend's life. And afterwards she was like, that wasn't actually the exact way that story went. So I would like to, as a comedian, I'm workshopping this story from my girlfriend's life, where when she was a very small child, pre-verbal, she remembers her mother said, "Don't touch that light bulb because it might, you know, it's hot and could hurt you."
Yeah.
And my girlfriend was just, you know, interpreting. She was like, wasn't, you know, paying attention to what she was saying. She was just like, oh, there's talking going on there. And she's like reaching, and then as she touches the light bulb, she's like, and she's like, oh, maybe, that's what this person was trying to help me.
Yeah.
This person wasn't trying to keep me from living my best life.
Yeah.
They were trying. Maybe I should listen to this large person who makes sounds that now I understand. She's like, you know, it's nice to discover on your own that you don't want to touch a hot light bulb, or that Moby Dick is good.
Yeah, and you also discover on your own that person was trying to help you not have to discover that on your own.
Yeah.
And that's maybe just as important. This is, I think all the time about how it feels like and we talked a little bit about this. There's a lot of teachers that watch. It's not a lot, but there's some teachers who watch, and I talk about how I feel like teaching has to adjust and start teaching people how to learn and differentiate ways to learn rather than dates and facts, which seem with the ease of getting that sort of information, I don't think a date is as important as an impact or a reason. And the ability to sift between, I don't need to know the day that an atom bomb was dropped because I can look that up immediately and have that information just as fast as recollecting it. But it's important to know how to find that information, I guess, and what its influence is.
Oh yeah, there's a book that my girlfriend also shared with me that we've read about. It's called Feldenkrais. Is this basically the main message of it is that life is about learning how to learn. And so, like, people ask, how do you do comedy? You're like, well, you just start doing it, and then but how? Well, you write things down and you say them out loud, like that's, and then eventually, like later, you look back and you're like, okay, well, what worked, and you discover from what you've been doing, and that's, I mean, kind of like learning is about doing for the most part, as opposed to just listening and regurgitating.
Yeah, the older that I get, the more I find that everyone is kind of just learning while they're learning. Even when I was living in like an apartment in Brooklyn, and it's like, grew up in a house, then you live in an apartment in Brooklyn and you notice the cracks or how the door doesn't fit right or how the window doesn't shut right, and these little things, and you just sort of like, oh yeah, I'm reminded that this was built by a person who was going to work, who maybe hurried, and I'm not that far from not being in this house. Like, outside is just 2 inches from me. It's something I always think about in an airplane. I'm like, someone just put this together, and that could have been a path I had with someone who builds this thing. It's just someone who kind of learned what to do, and you trust they got good enough at their job, I guess, or they sort of learned enough about how to do this along the way that now you get to live in this house or ride in an airplane a person put together.
Yeah, you hope that the metrics of like checking to the safety concerns, that if somebody came in too tired to work one day, that somebody else, his boss or her boss or their boss, was like, hey, do this one again.
Yeah.
The door of this plane actually does need to close fully.
Right. We're not trying to let light in to make people sleep a little easier.
Yeah.
This is why I'm not would never really love standardized. I was always very good at standardized testing because I was good at sort of guessing. I could narrow down and kind of do the best I was good at getting everything to a 50-50 at worst type of thing. But I just think it's so crazy because there's so many outside influences for a 10-year-old coming in who maybe they just got bullied on the bus and now they have to take a test and they're very smart, but today their head isn't there. And I think about when my head isn't here, how little I can get done. And then when I was a kid, it's 20 or 30 times. It's just so much more important for me for kids to have like this idea of how to learn and where to get the right information and how to sift and navigate, rather than how to bubble in C for, what day or what president was 15th or something like that.
That'd be a fun class to start. How to bubble and seed.
We thought we'd start with A, but it's kind of an alternative program. I remember I had a teacher in 8th grade, a science teacher, who made you put your own Scantron through the machine. And it clicks every time it marks one wrong because it hits it with red ink on the edge. And he made you do it in front of the whole class. And so you'd finish your test, and I think he was trying to make you take your time because no one wanted to be the first person. You finish in 10 minutes, you go put your thing through, and then it just goes. But I hated that. That was like the biggest. Even if you do okay, no one did perfect. And then you're like, the people aren't doing well on tests, aren't doing well on tests. And now they have to go do this thing. They're probably not there's all these things, other factors in their life that they're, let alone if they're not as book smart as other kids. And it just was frustrating. I thought it was like such a, not cruel, but like the teacher kind of thought he was a funny guy. And it was like, yeah, Johnny Rose saying it's like psychological warfare. It is almost like the teacher wants to be in charge of the kids with something.
The kids are now starring in the not doing well on the test show.
I know. I'm the goofy science teacher who does the hands-on education show is kind of what it was.
And it'd be great if you want to be you get to be an adult, a comedian, an artist, a writer, and you share all the history of like, can you believe back when I was a kid, this thing happened? And like, you'll tell all the stories about all the things that you got wrong. And now
Yeah.
you're choosing to do it as opposed to having it be foisted upon you by a teacher who's like, you're going to do it this way.
It really, what lots of, I mean, this is so, a whole lot of the cool adults I remember, the older I get, I realize were negligent professionals. And I was like, oh, those cool parents who took the keys to the car, that maybe wasn't good. Or those cool teachers who let you grade your test, or, oh, they just actually were on their computers. And, I mean, I don't remember a single thing from that class except mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. And that's probably not even true.
I think it is. I think that's the most important thing you could learn in 8th grade science. But
okay, let's keep trooping. Like I said, rapid
sure.
fire.
Oh yeah.
Here we go. If someone FaceTimed you out of nowhere, are you inclined to answer or not answer?
It depends who they are, 100%. But I also just finished this book called Because Internet by a linguist named Gretchen McCullough. It's really great, and it talks about historically, like how old you are versus and how old you were when you got the internet, or how old you were like when telephones or answering machines or like at whatever point in technology like the world was and you were when you started using it will affect. That's why like my mother will answer the phone like when we're out to dinner or at the movies, because like it used to be the phone like somebody's trying to get in touch with you and it's important. It could be really important. And but now of course like you can see who it is. There can be messages, you can call them back. There's texting is totally different. Like so there's a generational thing, but I also do still have like, if a phone calls me and I don't know who it is, like there's a running joke I have with a friend is like, ooh, it could be the president of show business, So so if it's somebody that I don't know, I think I'd be curious and probably answer. And if somebody that I do know, I think I'd be, if I have time and I'm in a place where I can. So I'd say yes. I'd say ultimately probably yes.
What the optimism with which I answer a phone call from a Los Angeles area code is incredible.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's someone I don't know from LA. They must be trying to give me the money.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a wrong number, or someone trying to buy the apartment I'm renting. That's what it is most frequently. Okay, next question. What is your cell phone wall?
Oh, it's me and my girlfriend, and we're kind of like I'm kissing her face, and I'm wearing a Batman shirt.
Wait, what are your thoughts on karaoke?
I used to not be a super fan of karaoke because I thought of it. It was because I'm a musician, and I do prefer to play my own music and sing my own stuff. So like live band karaoke is like a particular cool thing, but also I now think like the same way that Guitar Hero is fun, even also play the guitar. I don't think of Guitar Hero as like, oh, this isn't the guitar as much. It's like the canned pineapple doesn't taste as good as regular fresh pineapple.
Yeah.
But if you don't compare them, you're like, this is a fine tasting different thing. Or like, artificial grape flavor and grapes. Like you can like them both, but don't like this isn't that.
Yeah.
So now I do love I enjoy doing karaoke. I'll usually do Eminem songs.
Okay. What animals' babies are the cutest compared to what they are when they're an adult?
Ooh, oh, that's a great question. And I'm like, what's an ugly animal? I honestly don't. Is it a tadpole? No, a whale looks nice. Like I don't have can I pass?
You
sorry,
can
I
pass.
don't
You can
know.
definitely pass.
Yeah.
I would say
Yeah.
I couldn't think of one for that, but I think our best answer we got was alligator.
Oh, that makes sense. Sure. I mean,
or possums. Someone just said possums in the chat, and that's true as well. I think the small ones are very cute.
That makes sense. I accept both of those.
All right, which living musician would you pay the most money to see?
Oh, wow. Let's see. I've been listening recently to a group called Roomful of Teeth.
Okay.
And their music is their music is beautiful and weird, and I would love to see them live. So I'm not doing as full a reckoning of like, but what about you love all these
Yeah.
other that there are certainly a lot of other examples that I could say, but I'll say them.
Sure, but if they're in your emotional rotation right now, that would be the most beneficial, I think, to go see, rather than just sort of being like a reminiscent play the hits for you type of thing. When you see a
Oh
band,
yeah,
when they're important to
exactly.
you every day, it's sort of something that sits with you, and then that you remember that forever. What is stupid fact you have memorized from school still?
Oh, Chernozem, I believe, is fertile, rich soil uh, from the Soviet Union that Mr. Hellwig taught us in world history in somewhere between 8th and 10th grade. I don't know why it's important to know what that soil is called, or even if that's right, but I think that's right.
Okay. What? Okay, let me see where we at. Do you own any plants?
Uh, I I don't think that I do own any plants.
All right, we got two more questions. Did you remember your Skype password, or did you have to reset it?
Uh, I have used Skype enough recently that it just loads up automatically, but certainly I do remember some months ago when I started using it again regularly, I had to reset it.
Okay. And last question: what conspiracy theory do you maybe kind of believe a little?
I mostly don't, but it's not because I think that they're all necessarily false. But I think I heard maybe Eugene Merman talk about this with Pete Holmes about the idea that like I think they were comparing it to religion in a way that I don't think is actually doesn't resonate with me. But the idea that they're like they can't all be wrong, like just
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
so many of them. Like certainly, it does seem like there are people in who have a lot of power and money who are
yeah,
doing what they can to not let everyone know how much power and money they have.
yeah.
But I also so I think that not all of them are doing a great job of hiding it. Like it seems like a conspiracy has to be secret, and I feel like it's getting a lot more blatant. Though there probably are also lots of rich people. So I'm not saying like literally, the name. They're like we are the Illuminati, but certainly I think there are there's people with power who want to keep it and do bad things
Yeah.
so that they do.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's it. That's our rapid fire questions there for Myq. Everybody, clap. I don't know if people
Oh,
clap.
thank you so much.
This is, I mean, it's a real Jeb Bush, please clap moment in here. They said that sounds like the answer from a guy that is definitely holding or hiding a conspiracy. Well, I guess we'll never know. All right, Myq, now it is time. You're going to be playing a game against the people in chat. It's going to be you versus the
Okay.
viewers. This game is called Build the Perfect Movie. You can't hear it, but I'm playing some pretty cool theme music right now.
Ooh.
Perfect movie.
So how this game works, it's a game from Never Seen It. You will have to pick two movies from the category I give you, whose Rotten Tomatoes score adds up to as close to 100 as possible without going over. So Price is Right rules apply. So you will pick a movie, the chat will pick a movie, you'll pick a second movie based on your score from the first. They'll pick a second, closest to 100 without going over, if that makes sense.
I think it does. So ideally, I would want two movies that each got a 50
Yes,
score.
or so like if you had like Robin Williams could be a category. A perfect one we use as an example is Happy Feet
Got
is
it.
76. So then if you picked RV, that's a 24, and you would have a perfect movie there. The chat is pretty good. There's a small conspiracy that it's because they have the internet at their fingertips, but I trust them to not cheat. So here we are.
Okay.
And let me go ahead and pull up our first category here. I wrote a bunch of categories out. All right, we're going to go for the perfect. We'll start vague. The perfect comedy. The perfect comedy. And so, chat, throw out your perfect comedies. That's so funny. I said there's a conspiracy theory that the chat has internet, and they go, they can't all be wrong.
Ha 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 ha.
So you can sort of brainstorm. Chat's kind of brainstorming. They're saying Jack and Jill, Pluto Nash, Clue. I will say the most frequently used strategy is go low, then high.
Yeah. Oh, of course. That makes a lot of sense to me.
We call it the Michelle Obamaing. You go low and then they go high.
Okay. I've got one. Should I say it or not yet?
Chat's gonna go with Jack and Jill. It looks like. What do you want your first one to be?
I'm gonna go with Shallow Hal.
Shallow Hal. All right, chat. I'm gonna give you a poll here so they can pick their first one. So it'll take them a few seconds to vote. Jack and Jill versus Pluto Nash is gonna be. I really wish I had someone to do all this stuff. All right, vote chat on Jack and Jill versus Pluto Nash. They get 30 seconds to vote for their poll here, and I will let you know so you can start brainstorming. Wow, Shallow Hal is a 50%. It is exactly 50%. So we'll see. So if you want to think about what's going to be, I guess, exactly another 50%, there's no rule that says you can't use the same movie twice. Maybe I should use that rule now. All right, how we doing? There's people there. Chat, it looks like you're going with Jack and Jill. You got a few seconds left, but it's winning. All right, chat is Jack and Jill. It is. All right, so Myq, you're at a 50%. Jack and Jill, 3%.
Wow.
3. So chat, you need a 97. Myq, you need a 50.
I mean, certainly if it's not against the rules, I'll go with Shallow Hal again.
Let's do it back. Let's say it is against the rules. It's never come up that someone's got exactly a 50 before.
Pretty exciting.
We're really living out here.
So just to be clear, officially for my ego and by the rules of the game, I did win with 100%. But we'll play. We'll do another round.
We'll do one just for fun.
So.
Just for fun. We'll do another one. So the chat looks like they have Mean Girls or Ghostbusters or Hot Fuzz. The poll is going to go up now.
Okay. I gotta think.
All right, chat. Vote on what you want out of those three. And no, let's get that music going again. So we're building the perfect movie. If you're just getting here, 2 movies whose Rotten Tomatoes score adds up to as close to 100 as possible without going over. Myq has already technically won by picking Shallow Hal twice. Once again, let the record show. So now we're just running through the motions here for the love of the game. All right, you got to vote, chat. Your time's running out. Looks like it's going to be Mean Girls.
Okay, I got mine.
All right, Myq.
How about The Mask 2?
Son of the Mask?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Shallow Hal, 50%. Everyone's so mad about the pick the same movie twice thing. Normally you never would want to because your movie wouldn't be exactly 50%. That's the thing. Normally you wouldn't want to, but he got exactly 50%. Ain't no rule says the dog can't play basketball. All right.
Do you know, can I tell you a quick thing?
Yeah.
I learned as a kid there's a book I had called Strange But True Sports Stories, and there was a story about a catcher for a team who, you can't have the extra number, you can't have extra people on the field. Like if you have 10 people on the field, no good. But the catcher is technically like not on the field. Okay. So this catcher was he was in the dugout, and like a ball got hit foul and it was heading right to the dugout, and he wasn't in the game, but he yells to the umpire, "Kelly now catching." And then he caught the ball, and they're like, there is nothing in the rules that says you can't switch who's the catcher in the middle of the play. Like in the middle
of a pop fly.
But so that guy was out, but then later they were like, okay, now there's a rule that you can't do that.
That's
so
really how you, yeah.
I'll do this for later.
You've established what we will now call the Myq Kaplan bench catcher 50% double up rule. So you're no longer allowed to, but this round technically history will show. So let's review and see who won in our walkthrough just for the fun. Shallow Hal is a 50%. Yes. The Mask 2, 6%.
Oh, all right.
Not loved. Jack and Jill is a 3%. Mean Girls, 84%. So chat, 87%, pretty good. It's no double up Shallow Hal, but it's pretty good. All right. And from now on, no using the same movie. But that's from now on. You know what I mean? The Houston Astros still won that title.
Yes.
Not a good example. All right, poor Jamie Kennedy, someone said. All right, this is less straight up genre, but you're now going to try and build the perfect CGI heavy movie. CGI heavy. So, you can be, this is sort of more interpretive.
Yeah, I hear you. Let's see.
All right, they got Transformers 4, B movie, Starship Troopers, Polar Express.
Okay. I'll do Transformers 3.
Transformers 3? All right.
Yeah.
All right, chat, you're going to vote on Transformers 4, B movie, and Polar Express. Oh, and okay, we'll put Sharknado on there too, since I hadn't thought about putting it out yet. All right, here it goes. Chat's voting. I'm going to look up Transformers 3. A producer would change my life. You know how many tabs you can have open?
Sounds.
Of the clicking?
Ah.
I now have a second computer.
Wow.
Okay. Transformers 3, which is Transformers, I cannot believe this was the title, Dark of the Moon.
Oh, yeah.
It's like they really, really didn't want to get sued by Pink Floyd way too late in the game. Transformers Dark of the Moon, 35%.
Yeah. All right.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say, if you watch Transformers Dark of the Moon and match it up with Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon, and you also close your eyes and don't have the sound on for the movie, then it sounds real good.
I had a joke that never really worked that I thought was so funny. I was like, my dad used to always make us watch Wizard of Oz with Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. You guys know the thing with Wizard of Oz and the Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. My dad would make us watch it all the time. And I was like, if you guys haven't done it, did you know if you start The Wizard of Oz and Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon at the same time for an hour and a half, you can hear my dad going, "Can you hear it? Can you hear it?"
I like that a lot.
Yeah,
that made me laugh.
I don't think as many people, no one under 25 knows that anymore. It's just kind of gone away.
Oh.
Okay, chat's going with Sharknado. So Transformers 3 is a 35. Sharknado is a 78%.
Ooh,
78%.
you guys.
Hey, D. Iska, thanks for following the show. I got to do the Twitch stuff real quick. So, Mike, think of your second movie. Chat, think of your second movie. I'll tell everyone to follow the show. I think it's up here. You can subscribe to the show. If you have Amazon, you can subscribe to the show for free if you have Amazon Prime, and it helps us out. Nothing takes the fun out of it quite like that. So, Mike, you're looking for a 65. Chat, you're looking for a 22.
I've got mine.
All right. Whenever you're ready, Mike.
Transformers 2.
Transformers 2. That actually didn't have any CGI.
Is that true?
No, it's not. It's all practical robots. They got All right.
You got me.
All right, chat. Your votes between Emoji Movie and B Movie. Those were their two nominees. Cats made it in a little too low. Unless, okay, everyone type in Cats if you want that instead, and we'll go with Cats. We'll see. All right. Emoji Movie's getting too many votes. We got to go with the Emoji Movie. Sorry, everybody. I'm not running another poll. I'm going to see if they have the same... I'm going to see if this is... If they have the same percentage. All right, Emoji Movie got more votes than Cats did people typing in the chat, so I think you're going with the Emoji Movie. Here we go. Transformers Dark of the Moon, 35%. Transformers 2, 20%. 20.
All right.
So 55.
Wow. They really improved. Yeah, okay.
Sharknado, 78. Emoji Movie, 7. Once again, 85. 85.
Good work.
Chat knows what's up. All right, the last one is even slightly... Well, let's see if we have any other ones. No, I think we're good. We're moving on to the next game. Chat's killing it. Pass with a B. All right, we can stop that music. Let me see. I got a whole itinerary. Sorry, I'm not super organized. And I don't want to keep you here for this entire time. I want to play this Quiplash game with everybody. Pretty fun. It's just a digital game. But first, we're real quick going to do a game called what they call it Kyle San Diego. Basically, where did I just put you in front of anywhere in the world? You can only ask yes or no questions to find out where you are. Does that make sense? I wish it was a shorter description.
How many questions can I ask?
You have 2 minutes to ask as many yes or no questions as you want.
Okay.
You're in front of something anywhere. Here's some past examples: a Blockbuster video, the Coliseum. So whether it's one of them exists, the first Starbucks or a Build-A-Bear, the space station, anywhere. All of yours today are on Earth.
But it's not a geographical thing. It's not like in Paris. It would be like at the Eiffel Tower, more likely. Is that?
Yeah. It rarely will be. I won't do a proper geographical name for any large city or anything. If it was something like that, it would be like my hometown, to see if you could figure that out. Yeah, one of them was the Pizza Hut across from the pyramids. Things like that.
Okay, got it.
So I have your first one pulled up here. I'm not sharing the screen with you anymore, am I? I hope not.
You are not.
Okay, great. Otherwise, you would have had the answer.
Yep.
Okay, so you have 2 minutes. Yes or no questions. They know what you are here. They can see it whenever you're ready.
Okay. Is it a store?
You are not at a store.
Is it a restaurant?
You are not at a restaurant.
Is it like a national park?
You are in a national park.
Oh. Is it a Yosemite National Park?
You are in Yosemite. No, it's not Yosemite.
Oh.
It is not.
Am I in front of like a geyser?
You are in front of a specific geyser.
Old Faithful?
Yes, you are at Old Faithful.
That's real weird.
I would say people only have about a 20% getting these in the 2 minutes.
That was it was really special.
People are losing their minds. They get a little harder.
Okay.
But that was crazy. Yeah, it's Yellowstone. That's why I said it. I thought it was Yosemite for a second, but then I corrected myself. I said it's not Yosemite. We got there.
Yeah.
Wow. Myq killing it. They're starting hashtags in the chat and everything for you. We're really doing it. All right. We have a second place. You are somewhere in the world. 2 minutes whenever you're ready.
Is this a store?
This is not a store.
A restaurant? A place where you can buy anything?
You can. It's not. You might be able to buy stuff there, but it's not what it is.
Okay. Is it wilderness, like nature, or is it man-made?
I would say it's not quite a yes or no, but I would say you're specifically on a man-made thing in nature.
It is on Earth.
You're on Earth.
Okay. Is it? Whew, boy. Is it a thing that's bigger than me? That's behind me.
Yes. If you laid on this thing, you would not take it all up.
Okay. Is it art?
No, not explicitly.
Does it have a specific function? Is it a stage?
It's not a stage. The function question, I can't give you an answer without maybe confusing you.
Okay. That also confuses me.
Yeah.
Is it okay? It's something that's flat and man-made.
It's a flat man-made thing in nature.
Ooh, good. Is it in a forest?
I don't think so.
Is it in a desert?
I would say desert.
A flat man-made thing in the desert. Is it? Does it matter? Let's see. Is it in Asia?
No.
Is it in Africa?
No.
Is it in America?
Yes.
Okay. Is it Burning Man? Is it where that happens?
It is not where Burning Man happens.
Is it in Texas?
No.
Okay. Boy. Is it Old Faithful?
No. That would be so funny. 4 times in a row.
Yeah. Oh boy. A flat thing where maybe, I know you could buy stuff. That's not an important part of it. Okay. Oh god, 2 minutes is a long time.
Yeah. You got about 30 seconds.
Okay. Does it have a name?
It does.
Is it like is it a monument?
It is literally a monument.
Okay. Oh god. Is it in DC?
No. Remember, you're in the desert.
Oh yeah, right. A monument in the desert. The Sphinx. That's not in America. Is it? Did I get it?
All right. So our 2 minutes is up. I'll give you one hint. I would say if you named any of the states you're in, you might be able to get it.
Oh. Is it the Four Corners? Thank you.
That's
That
tough.
makes sense.
It's so tough. There is a gift shop.
Yeah. Oh no, that's good. What a good trivia thing. While you're getting the next one ready,
Yeah.
can you mind if I just run and grab my my computer charger?
Actually, grab your charger. I'm gonna grab a quick thing of coffee, and we'll be back
Okay.
in like 2 minutes. We'll be right back, everybody.
Now I got the woman and I got the kids, decent neighbors, that's all it is. It ain't the money, the property. Seem like everywhere I go I'm trying to change the things I know. I'm looking for change of pace. Then I'll be on my way. Let's start a movement without a purpose for change of pace.
All right, break is over. We did it. We did it. We're muting the music. I got a little bit more coffee. Your computer's charging. Let's get you in front of a new place if you're still down to hang out and do a little bit more.
I'm down to hound.
All right, we are at a new location somewhere in the world.
Okay. Is it man-made?
Yes.
Is it a store?
No.
Is it in America?
It is in America.
Is it a monument?
No.
Is it a specific thing that's bigger than me?
Yes. It is
Is
bigger
it a
than
statue?
me.
Yeah.
It is not a statue.
Is it a statue?
No.
Is it art of any kind?
Not it, as a whole, no.
Does it have art in it?
I would say yes.
Is it a museum?
It is not a museum.
Is it a home?
It is not a home.
Is it a building?
It is a building. It is a set of buildings.
Okay. A set of buildings. Is it in does it matter? Is it important what state it's in?
Its location would be helpful to you, yeah.
Okay. Is it in a big city?
It is, I believe, within technically no, but within the
It's near a big city.
Right. Its address is not a big city, but its referential metropolis is.
It's associated with a big city, or it's near enough to a big
It's
city.
near enough to a big city, yeah.
Okay. Is the city New York?
No.
DC?
No.
Chicago?
No.
LA?
No.
Is the city in Texas?
No.
Minneapolis?
No.
God damn it.
You're too small now.
Portland, Oregon,
Bigger.
Seattle.
Bigger.
So it's not Los Angeles, New York. Bigger than Seattle. I don't know my big cities.
This one tends to just
Denver?
yeah. No,
Yeah.
bigger.
Wow. What? Atlanta?
Bigger. Maybe I don't know if it's technically bigger.
Okay. A set of buildings.
If you're in California, I'll give you that.
Is it? Oh, okay. San Francisco.
San Francisco, you're in the Bay Area.
Okay. Is it Google or Facebook?
It's not either of those.
Is it a tech company?
They utilize tech, but no, I wouldn't call them a tech company.
Sorry, you were. What? You cut out a little bit. What? You say that
I
again?
wouldn't call them a tech company.
Okay. It's not Disney World's not there, but it is a company.
Right.
Is it a company?
It is a company.
Lyft, Uber? Is it a company? Oh boy, a company in the Bay Area that's not a tech company. What other companies are there in the Bay Area? Something that is it something that I've heard of?
You for sure have heard of this, and you for sure, I would say almost guaranteed, are familiar with their work.
Who's familiar with their work?
Everybody.
Oh, I see. Okay. Everyone's familiar with their work. The people in these buildings in the Bay Area.
Remember, you said that we figured out that there is definitely art in this set of buildings.
Oh, yeah. Is it Banksy's house?
I actually don't. I can't say definitively yes or no, because who knows?
Does the set of buildings have a specific name?
Yes, it does.
It's it's the headquarters of a company? The headquarters of a San Francisco company. Old Faithful.
No, we hit our 2 minutes. We are looking for Pixar Animation Studios.
I understand that they are not a tech company the way that other companies are a tech company, and yet they use tech and have art inside.
And
That's
originally
great.
they were just a tech company.
And that is where Banksy lives. So it was tough. Yeah.
It was your questions were so good that they could have pushed you in the wrong direction, if that makes sense, because they were a company who just developed this computer generating software, this CGI software, and then them utilizing it for movies was just sort of a function of the company. And then they made the little lamp short film. It's just such a wide the company's. Yeah, I was like, these are almost the questions I would ask to throw someone off.
Sure.
All right, we have one last one.
Makes sense.
This one is tough. The picture I had to use for it is an old picture. It's not even a photo. I'm just telling you that now. But 2 minutes to find out where you. Let me pull up the information about where you are, actually, so I have it.
Okay.
All right, whenever you're ready. Last one.
Okay. Does this place still exist today?
I think so, yes.
Okay. But I'm in front of a painting or a picture or a drawing or something of.
Yes.
Is it a building?
It is a building.
Is it in America?
It is in America.
Does the building have a specific name?
Yes, it does.
Is it a museum?
I believe it is now a museum.
It used to be not a museum.
Correct.
It used to have some kind of. Was it a home? Was it somebody's home?
It was not a home.
Was it a place of business?
It. Yeah, sure. People paid to go when they were there.
Did people go for fun?
Yes.
Do people still go for fun?
Maybe. I think that it says that they still do some sort of things that would be entertainment based.
But it used to be they do it for fun. Is it Halloween based?
It is not Halloween based.
Is it like an amusement park related thing?
No.
But people used to go for fun. Was it like for entertainment, for shows?
Yes.
Like a theater of some kind?
It is. Yes, exactly.
It was a theater and is now not a theater?
It was a theater and is now a museum and a theater.
Oh, is it where is it Elvis related?
It is not Elvis related.
Okay, it's not. Was it a movie theater or just a live theater? Is it the Grand Ole Opry?
It's not the Grand Ole Opry.
But is that a really great guess? And
you're pretty much
person?
in the world. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. I'm not ethically bad for guessing that.
No.
Okay, great. I haven't done a horrible thing. Okay. A theater, it was a theater.
Mm-hmm.
People still go to it. Would knowing where it is help me?
1,000,000%. I believe it would be your first guess if you knew where it was.
Okay. Is it in New York? That would not.
No.
That couldn't be the answer. Yeah. I got it. A theater in New York. Is it Alaska? Is it Hawaii? A building I'm in front of. People used to go for fun. It was a theater. Did specific kinds of shows happen there?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Ooh, boy. Ooh. Man, I guess I'm just I'm a one answer wonder on that. What a real fun thing that was, getting that one.
I'll tell you this: you're in a theater where maybe the most famous thing that's ever happened in a theater in America happened in this theater.
Oh, it's the theater where Lincoln was shot? The Ford Theater. All right, that makes sense.
Sorry to all actors, but that's the most famous thing to happen. A president getting killed would be... That's like if an Uber driver got mad. I'm like, the most famous thing to ever happen on this street in Dallas. And he's like, what? I worked so hard.
Yes.
Okay. He's going to get this. We had to clock him out. Sorry, everybody. All right. So we got one more thing I want to do, and this involves playing, basically, if you've ever played Quiplash. Are you familiar with the game Quiplash?
I have played Quiplash.
Are you willing to play some here with the people in the chat? We'll get one together.
I am willing. Do I have to do anything with my phone or anything?
You'll have to use your phone as the keypad, but I'll have the game up here. Basically, I'll share my screen with you again so you can see the game when I pull it up. Got it. So let me go ahead and chat. I'm going to get Quiplash pulled up. I believe 6 of you are going to be able to play. Maybe 7. I don't know the number that it is exactly.
And where do I go on my phone?
You can go to jackbox.tv. That was the loudest thing I've ever seen. Oh, and then I will, you'll see all the code up here that you can see in a second to get into the game. That way we can make sure you get in. So chat, jackbox.tv. Let me pull it up. Little tech movements here. Game is loading. Volume seems okay. Not too high. Alright, Myq, I'm going to share this with you so you can see the game as well.
Great.
And that'll have the code on there that you put in.
Oh, yeah. That sure has it.
And I'm going to text that out real quick. Alright, waiting for players to join. And here we go. What?
I've made my name say Myq and then in parentheses winner. So it looks like I'm the winner before we've played.
They're filling in. 2 more people.
Myq in a box. That's fun.
One more. We got one more. I know there's one more person. Jackbox.tv. Get in there. Myq in a box did win Jackbox our last game. Here we go. Abe Froman's in. Let me turn the volume down a little bit. There we go. Very intense.
Welcome. I'm your host, Schmitty, and I've hidden the secret to eternal youth.
Oh, it's Quiplash 2? I've only played Quiplash 1.
Yeah, but it's 2 TOO, not TWO.
Okay, good.
And last, remember that you're
You can't hear the audio, unfortunately, but it doesn't. He's basically just saying if you join the audience, you can vote as well, and that's pretty much it.
Here's round 1. You'll see 2 prompts on your device. Answer them any way you want. Each answer will go up against someone else's answer, and everyone will vote on which they like most. It's simple. You'll score points based on the percentage of people who prefer your answer. Have at it.
Okay. I'm always too quick. I feel like I answered it too quick. While everyone's writing this in here, people in the chat, I want to ask you, how would you feel about moving it back 1 hour, 11 to 1? Do we like 10 to noon, or do we like 11 to 1 Pacific time? Does everyone like the time now, or an hour later, wherever you're at? What's preference on this? Everyone's busy. Everyone likes 11? No, if I moved it back an hour. Quarantine in Alaska.
All right, let's get to it.
Someone goes, Kyle writes all of his quips in half a quibby.
Out of Mississippi is to blank.
Moving it back works alright for you guys? Do you like that okay? Or do you like the time East Coast right now? You have a 10:30 now? What? Yeah, we'll move it 1 hour later. Oh, you have a 10:30 meeting every day? So 11 might be able to hit that afterwards. I just was thinking
Next in the hopper,
that might work better because a lot of...
first thing you could try to donate to the Salvation Army. Get to voting.
Central time, then it would be 1 to 3. 1 p.m. start time Central. Yeah, Warhead. I like how they move their mouths. The graphics are so simple on this, but I like them.
Moving on. The advice a couples therapist would give to Captain America and Bucky. Vote on your devices.
Captain America and Bucky. You like the earlier time? Yeah, I'm not sure. Bucky is, what is his name?
I didn't know what a safety cue was, so I clicked it to find out, and now I understand.
And it just answered for you?
Who's the boss?
Yeah.
Ready, set, vote.
I put one in myself too, but
We gotta, I'm just realizing you can see my desktop on my computer. We got my tax summary. This is a screenshot here of how to get videos in from Skype to the game. Here's a screenshot of March. I was gonna say this is what March 1st looks like, and then there's a screenshot of my calendar on March 1st. But I never did.
Next in line.
is that shared with everyone or just?
No, you're the only one who can see my screen. So you could. Here's the Joker. I haven't watched it yet. The new Star Wars. I also haven't watched it yet. I see someone didn't get their whole thing written in.
Yeah, probably nobody said that.
He timed out. That's true. No one in history has ever like had a stroke in the middle of saying they love this game.
A super quiplash.
Next prompt. A surprise benefit of all the wind in Chicago. Vote away.
I don't even know what that.
One of these is my one that it filled in for me also. Which one? It's like a weird Turing test. Next time. Here we go. Ah.
No, some people were just so confused by both answers they didn't vote. I don't even remember what my other question was or if I answered it.
Next up. A weird
comes.
end of the date proposal. How would you like to come back to my place and blank? Vote now.
I love teach how to use pronouns. Is so funny.
Really?
I found there's kind of two ways to win this. It's either something funny like teach how to use pronouns, or you just make fun of the fact that we're playing a game and people are into that.
And vote.
The most pointless one.
These are both good in different ways. Is there another round after this?
I'm not sure. Do you gotta get going? If you gotta get going, it's okay.
I wanna have a chance to redeem myself. By
I think there's
playing
2
the right way.
rounds, and then there's like a longer final round, like a bonus type of thing.
Cool.
Give Wind a chance. That's funny. I'll put this down here so you can really smallly see the tiny font of the chat as well.
Oh yeah.
Round 2.
And then you might not have to look at your own face anymore.
Points are doubled.
Okay, here goes. For real.
Okay. Boy, do I think I did okay with one of the two.
At times like this, I'm just glad that I have my own career that doesn't depend on these answers.
I know. I thought I would be good at it, but mostly other people thought I would be good at it, and I'm not very good at it.
I feel like it's like pool for me. Like I'm sometimes good, but sometimes
Yeah.
not.
What I would do better is if I could do this and then think about it alone, my answer for 7 weeks before I showed it to anyone.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I love both answers, but it's hard for me to not vote for someone who types in LOL at the end of their own answer.
I do like his nose in parentheses.
Yeah.
A good amount. Look at those points.
Next one. Why are sloths so slow?
Why are sloths so slow?
Time to vote.
Again, these are both good answers.
I felt good about that one.
Oh yeah. That was an audience favorite.
Look at my little pink guy. He's so full.
Your next prompt is a good use for an old CD tower.
Oh, man.
Time.
Do 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 do. Oh, my dad is in the chat. He figured it out.
Ah, that's nice.
Holding CDs I really liked. I really liked holding CDs.
They really
Next
did
on
it.
the list, it would be weird if aliens arrived and the first thing they said was, "Take us to your blank." Put in your votes.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it'd be funny if they like knew that they were called rocket launch pads. That's why I like that one so much.
Thank you, Kyle.
They knew all these details.
Kyle is a comedian. He liked my joke.
A bad excuse for missing your kid's graduation.
Okay, I'm gonna get killed in this one. We know which one's mine, and the other one is so much funnier. The sitting backwards is just so funny.
Oh, yes.
I tried to type, my girlfriend is also graduating today or something. It was just too many characters.
Okay, next one. What Victoria's
Makes sense.
Secret models probably do right after a fashion show? Vote on your devices.
Ooh, the typo actually helps this one for me.
For sure. They're both good in different ways.
Up next, the name of a singles bar for pirates. Ready?
Oh, man.
It's interesting that nobody just said bar.
I know, I was expecting 8 R's in there.
Yeah. These are good other ways.
Everyone is good at this. Everyone is really good at this. I just think the Tinder angle with the app and for singles is what did it for me.
Yeah, there's a lot of connections made.
Plus the name Abe Froman is just an all-timer for me.
A little known but fun moment at the Last Supper was when blank. Time to vote.
I don't know who wrote the Grace one, but it's really legitimately making me laugh. It's so funny.
It was me,
It's so funny. He just reaches and everyone's like, that's where everyone's doing this in the painting. Is they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. That's so funny. That's the funniest thing I've read on here so far.
But is it enough to take Myq the winner out of last place? Oh, a little bit.
Abe's got a real big lead here, but just like everyone's shocked in the painting of the Last Supper because Jesus just like starts eating bread right away.
Because you're all getting the same
I
prompt
need
this
to,
time.
I'm made of bread. I gotta.
Oh.
Here's your
Okay,
word
here
last
we
task.
go. Good luck, everyone.
All right, here's the board. It's round 3, so you've got 3 medals to award: a gold, a silver, and a bronze. Make your picks.
Okay, 3 medals.
Brace yourselves, here come those medals. Bronze first, silver, and gold. Medals are nice, but points are even nicer, so...
Congratulations, everyone.
That's the end.
Shoot.
Let's see the final scoreboard.
Abe Froman taking it down. Big win. Big win.
I made it to the middle.
Oh,
From the bottom.
I'm
I'm
gonna.
in the middle.
Good job, Abe Froman. Good job. I'm gonna show you this real quick, Mike, and show it to everybody. While this all finishes playing out, I'm gonna quit out of the game so we don't hear the music anymore. No offense to the music. None taken, I hope the music says. I made this real quick. That's not the right one. Let me find it. Let me find it. Here we go. There we go. I don't know why I spent so much time making it, but there it is.
Oh, yeah. I'd like to thank Jesus for how well I did in that game. I couldn't have done it without the power of Christ.
Oh, yeah. Well, Mike, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, yeah. When do we do the other 40-something rapid fire? I understand.
Oh, yeah, there are a lot more. You can pick another few if you want. If you want to do 5, pick another group of 5. We'll do 5 to get you out of here.
I'd love to. How about 11 through 16, somewhere in there?
Let's do it. All right, number 11. How old do you think I am?
34?
Nope. Next one. What is your favorite chain restaurant?
Oh, I guess as a person who doesn't eat meat, the one that I like going to most is Chipotle.
Chipotle. What film villain do you align with the most?
Oh, well, offhand, I would say probably somebody who's trying to take over the world to help the environment in a way. So I guess the one that jumps to mind immediately is Thanos from Infinity War. I don't think like we're exactly the same, but I do appreciate the goal of, decreasing overpopulation and
Sure.
having a higher quality of life for the people who do exist.
Yeah, I think that was what worked really well with him was, obviously you don't really take his side because the method is so extreme and violent, but it's not like saving the existence of everyone is a bad thing.
Yeah, right now you have a choice. Like if you want to have kids, you can have kids, but if you don't want to have kids, you're doing kind of what if you're gonna like let's have 2 kids, you're like no, let's just have 1 kid to help overpopulation. That's like a sort of slow motion version. It's on the spectrum of what Thanos is doing. Like not
Yeah.
killing people who don't. I don't want people who are alive to stop being alive.
Right.
But I'm fine with people who aren't yet alive not being alive because all the energy and matter it's the same matter and energy. Let's just put it into a couple fewer people if we
Sure.
want to and can. Like do what you want.
Even if it's just on a short-term basis to sort of get this thing back to some sort of equilibrium, and then we'll exploit it again and then kind of go back.
Yes.
All right, who was your first celebrity crush?
Oh, that's a good question. Maybe Maybe Heather Locklear.
Okay, and our final one. Well, I just lost track of where I was. What is a word that you love?
Oh, copacetic.
Copacetic. That's a great word. Thank
Love
you.
it.
Thank you very much, Myq Kaplan, for being here. Everybody say thanks and goodbye to Mike.
A pleasure.
Thank you.
You're
Thanks, everybody.
delightful.
Bye.
See you again. Bye.
Stay safe and all healthy and all those sort of things and blah, blah. Oh, everybody, we did it. Say goodbye to Mike. Say later to him. How's everyone doing? I think we might wrap up a little early. Does everyone get offended if we wrap up a little early? Does that offend everybody? What does that do? I just got a headache. I don't feel great. Everyone, please, you can subscribe to the show. You know where that's at up there. It's provocative. It gets the people going. Yeah, you can subscribe up there. If you got Amazon, you can do it for free. Then you get this cool little star in the bubble thing if you haven't done it. You can follow the show as well just by clicking over there. I appreciate that. We'll do Club Step. We'll do Club Step. Let me make sure they got it on here. What's everyone got going on the rest of the day? Good? Has everyone got good stuff going on? There we go. We'll pull out here with This Is Big Something. This is Club Step. I hope everyone has a good day. Hope everyone is safe. You got theater rehearsal, digitally, remotely. Awesome. You got work until 4:30. Yes, Dad, I'll send you a free ink pen. Breath of the Wild. You can add me on the Switch. I do have my Switch code on here. I can actually send it to you real quick if everyone's on that thing. Let me pull it up. There's my Switch code. There's this thing for the Xbox. And that's it. Thank you guys. We'll be back tomorrow. We're going to do a podcast tomorrow, I think, because I've never seen it. So it'll be more podcast stuff. I don't have PlayStation 4. But that's it. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day. Stay healthy and safe, and I hope everyone stays inside. And that's what we want. Look at that. Look at that. We're doing it.